So I'm going to start recording. Good afternoon again. Today's topic is something that it's extremely important in our educational system. Uh, Today's topic it's called curriculum. Okay. Now, what do you know about curriculum? What's a curriculum? What's come to your mind when you listen to the word curriculum? Anybody? Anybody? Only one, not two. What comes to your mind when you listen to the word curriculum?
May I say something,
Yeah,
teacher?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. What I have heard about curriculum, it is like a set of skills, techniques, or and processes that a teacher should follow in order to guide the classes. But the curriculum, it's made up by professionals from the government, something like that. So
All
that's
right.
what I have about it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Somebody else? Somebody else? Curriculum, huh? Curriculum. That's a very common word in Spanish, and it's a cognate, curriculum. What comes to your mind? Imagine that you don't know about education. What's curriculum?
I think that curriculum is, like a program that has been established by our government, but this program is related with education in our country. So basically, curriculum it incorporates and it has like all of the aspects that need to be considered when it comes to a teaching process in the country where we are living. So I think that every single class needs to follow up the not the basic structure but the values that the curriculum has and that has been incorporated on it.
Thank you very much, Marco. Is there any other opinion before moving to the introduction and all that? Is there any other opinion? Okay. Well, thank you guys for participating. Participation it's important in this kind of classes because these topic, especially this topic, it's important to know about since you're the ones that are going to be there teaching in the future. So you should know these terms and also to understand the meaningful aspects of the word and the concept. Okay. Now, to me, when I see the word curriculum, I think about resume. I think about resume, which is something that we need for applying for a job, right? However, in education, curriculum involves more than just information. This week, we're going to study the concept of national curriculum, right? And we're going to discuss based on the Salvadoran's reality, okay? Um, we all know that our reality in education is it's hard, it's serious, and when it comes to education there are a lot of aspects that we have to consider and also discuss and give opinions and ideas for improvements. So the first thing that I was asking is that, right, like what came to your mind when you listened to the word curriculum? So probably not many of you participate. However, I want to leave this question in your mind and in your heart, and I want you to reflect on that. Right? Why is it important to reflect about curriculum? If you didn't know, or if you don't know what curriculum is, well, you are in the right place because we are about to know that. Um, in this class, um, we're going to see like a story of a teacher, right? Of a new teacher. And she's like telling, her experience and she's describing what curriculum is for her. So we're going to be discussing that as well as some advantages and disadvantages of having a curriculum, right? Now, what is the national curriculum and who creates it? One of you was saying that it was created by the government and by people in the education, in the Ministry of Education. Well, the Ministry of Education hire people for creating it, right? Now, maybe you have wondered, what is it, right? What is the curriculum or the national curriculum? Um, Maybe it's a document, or maybe that word is composed by many elements. Maybe it's a guide. Uh, Maybe it's what? Lesson plans? Mm. Well, let me tell you something. Curriculum is both the plan process, the actual implementation of the teaching, and the students' experiences of the learning processes, okay? This is like a cycle. We have a plan, we implement it, we have a student's experience and learning, okay? That's like a cycle, so we have that. Now, the important part of that is that as teachers, we need to be aware. We need to be aware of that, okay? If we're not aware of the curriculum and its importance, then we're gonna lose our path, okay? So the word curriculum in education has to do with many things, okay? Not just with documents, but also with values, as Marco was saying, okay? Now, now here, I got some information and I put the most important parts here. Um, it says that with that in mind, a standard curriculum typically consists of the following part. A curriculum is a collection of lessons, assessments, and other academic content that taught in school, program, or class by a teacher. So pay attention to this part. A curriculum is composed by lesson plans, assessments, and other academic contents that's taught in a school, the program, or a class by the teacher. So all those elements are in the curriculum, okay? Here, we're missing the textbooks as well, which are part of the curriculum. We have the syllabus as well, you know, syllabus. Have you ever thought in regular education, like in schools? Have you ever taught classes at school? Somebody here? No? Nobody?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Do you know what the syllabus is?
Syllables.
Yeah. What's the syllabus?
No, I don't really know.
Okay. Thanks anyway. Um, when you're teaching at school, and the institutions hire you, they give you a syllabus. A syllabus is something like a program, okay, in which you have the name of the units, how many units you're gonna cover, and also some of them they got like times, you know, in which you're gonna teach the topics. For example, imagine that you're teaching second grade and you're teaching English, okay, and you have like 12 units for the whole year, okay? So the institution that you work for, they give you a syllabus. In the syllabus, you're gonna find out unit one, and you're gonna find out the topics, and you're gonna find out the length of time that you can spend on that unit, okay? That's the syllabus, okay? The content and how much time you're gonna spend on that, okay? Now, probably you can ask me, should I cover the whole content? Well, there is a part of flexibility in the content in which teachers can decide what topics are relevant and which ones are not so relevant, okay? So when you're teaching, guys, and when you have your curriculum, like you have your everything, textbooks, assessment, lessons, and everything, you can decide, okay, what to teach. You can modify if you're learning, like if your topics are meaningful for your students, or you can make them meaningful, okay? So it's your decision. You can also use capstones project, okay? So they can help you to evaluate, you know, to check also students understanding. You can set or plan projects like role plays, like I don't know, like a play, for example, which is a really good project. And with that, you can you can realize about your students' knowledge, you know, according to what you have taught them, and that's part of the curriculum now as well. Now here we have this. We have purpose statement. Here it says, what will this curriculum achieve? So in the purpose statement, there is a something that it's basically a set of goals, you know, achievements that you're expecting to cover, okay? So in that part, you're gonna realize about the goals that you have with that specific group of students, all right? Or with that specific group of how can I say, not the students, like the whole, well, the whole group of students, you know, the whole school as well. You know, if you're working just with high school, for example. Then we have outcome statements. It says, what will students be able to do with the information? In here, um, you have to select and you have to decide what content, okay? What content and what kind of information you're going to present with your students, okay? Why is this important? Because you have to tell them, you have to tell your students, okay? This is gonna be important in your life because of this and this and this. You have to explain why is it important for them, okay? And here, I'm coming back with the meaningful thing, okay? Remember that every activity that you plan should be meaningful, okay? You should explain your students why you are teaching them something, okay? So they can understand it and they can process that. Then we have essential resources. What will you use to teach your class and what will students use to learn? Now, nowadays, we have many resources, right? We have textbooks, we have web pages, we have platforms. So here you have to think about a list of materials or tools that you're gonna use as a resources, okay? Also for students, you can use apps, you know, you can use apps like nowadays, students love them and all this stuff, you know, that can be useful for teaching them. Then we have strategy framework. What teaching approach will you use? Now, in this part, guys, you're gonna think about what approaches, okay, you're gonna use. But first, you have to think about your students' learning styles, and you have to learn or you have to know about their needs in order to take a decision about what approach you will use. So it is essential to recognize or to be aware of your students' needs and learning styles before you decide like what teaching approach I'm sorry to use. Now then we have the verification here. You have to design a set of tests or activities in which you verify, you know, you verify if your students are learning or if your teaching is being effective. Imagine that you have taught the numbers last week, okay? You're working with basic students. And then you want to know if your teaching method has been effective, you know. And then how do you prove it? Well, the only thing you can do is assigning assessments, assigning tasks, okay, role plays, or things that prove that they are engaged and they know what they're talking about, right? Now, the last part has to do with who rules the curriculum. In our case, is the Minet, okay? In other countries, they have federal staff, you know, they have different a different system, okay? Now, here, we're gonna start reading this teacher experience about the curriculum, and we're gonna find out how beautiful it is to see her experience and how she transformed the way or the concept of a curriculum, okay? After this, we're gonna have a discussion, okay? And you're gonna be hired as Ministry of Education, okay? So you're gonna get like $5,000 a month. Okay, that's an activity that I have prepared for you. So right now, I'm gonna need a volunteer for reading this part. So I'm gonna ask Esther. Esther, would you mind helping me with the reading?
Sure. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. What exactly is a curriculum? I recall one distinct, shocking moment as a new teacher. It was when a mentor teacher was onboarding me. She walked me to the classroom, opened a cabinet door rather proudly, showed me two shelves filled with textbooks and supplementary material, worksheets, assessment guides, and said, "This is your sixth grade math curriculum."
Thank you very much. Beautiful pronunciation. Um, well, I almost forgot, guys. Congratulations for the great job you have done with your micro classes. I have already grade year classes. Sadly, some of you didn't follow the instructions, and I wrote comments about it. But I'm really, really satisfied with your videos, with your mini lessons. They were great. So congratulations on that. Now, here we have this teaching experience, right? She was a new teacher, okay? And then an old teacher or, a colleague entered to her class, and imagine, right? Imagine a little fat guy about 40 years old and walked out to your classroom and, open a cabinet with with books and text and papers, worksheets, assessment guides, and, a lot of things. And imagine that he said, this is your sixth grade math curriculum. Math, only math. So imagine how crazy it would be to find out that, right? So look at the things that he mentioned it. Textbooks, supplementary materials, okay? That can be magazines, it can be extra books, worksheets, assessment guides, etc., right? And he said, this is your curriculum, okay? Now you probably are thinking, right? Why did he said that? Well, most of the teacher consider those resources or those things a curriculum, because they work with that, right? They work with that. Now, from this experience, what do you think would be these teachers' reaction? How would you react if in your first day somebody just tell you, okay, this is your curriculum, and she gives you like 5 textbooks and a lot of magazines and extra resources? How would you react? Hmm. Anybody?
I mean, if I were a teacher,
Yeah.
okay, that's happened to me 2 years ago when I start working.
Okay.
They gave me the curriculum, and I didn't know what can I do. I was wondering myself, and I said, okay, I have to fulfill the 40 minutes.
Hmm.
What activities should I do to fulfill all of those minutes? And they gave me, okay, you're going to work with this, but they didn't teach me. They didn't say anything. All right, they just gave me the materials, and I was like, what? Okay,
Yeah.
so um
So you didn't know what to do, huh?
yeah, exactly.
All
and
right.
and this happened to me, and it was terrible.
Oh, sorry to hear that, right? So in this case, this new teacher, like she was received that way, right? Like, here's your curriculum, and okay, do whatever, right? Now let's read. Let's continue, and then you will realize what happens. Check it out. Well, I'm gonna ask. Let me see. Brenda, would you mind reading, Brenda Segovia?
Okay, flipping through the materials, I could not believe my eyes. The materials were barely different from when I was a student. They were still talking about agricultural steps from the 1918s. in one of the war, in one of the war problems, and that agricultural stat was not particularly relevant to my students or to me. For her, what was most shocking to me was that this was all that my mentor teacher had provided, a bunch of worksheets made by a textbook publisher. Really? Is this how kids were to be taught in the 20th century? Did all textbooks equal their current curriculum?
Okay. Thank you very much. Um, so this girl or this teacher, she got like texts, materials that were barely different from the one that she used when she was a student, right? What a surprise, right? Now, that was the curriculum, okay? Don't lose focus. We're talking about curriculum. So, what do you think happened? Okay, what do you think happened in this case? Because the teacher, her mentor, she was or he was using, well, I guess it was a girl, yeah, she was using the same information uh, from the 1960s, okay? The same information. Um, do you think that using the same information from 10 years ago, like imagine that I am using information like that is not updated. Do you think that that would be good for education? That would be good for you guys? What do you think? How would you feel?
I think that that won't be good because education is, like inexorable. It doesn't stop, and every single day there is something new that you can learn. So, it's like English. When you were learning English in the past, it's not like the same of being learning English nowadays. There are some verbs that maybe in the past uh, weren't that relevant as they are nowadays. But I think that this affects most of the students nowadays because they need to be learning new. They have to learn about the new trends that there are in the world. For example, technology, science, uh, and many other issues that are in our surroundings nowadays. But if you are still learning about things that happened in the past or information from the past, then you are not going to grow as a modern or as a critical thinker.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing, Marco. Listen, I cannot teach with material that is not updated. Why not? Well, first, imagine that if I start teaching millennials, you guys are millennials, right? Or you are Generation Z. What generation are you? Do you know? Well, first, do you know about the generations? Or you don't know? So I can explain a little bit. No?
Kind of not all. I had just heard something about millennials, but
Mm.
not too much.
But we are not millennials, I think.
I think you are Generation Z.
Exactly.
I am a millennial, I guess. Okay. Well, I'm gonna give you a quick explanation about millennials and all those generations, a little bit like tweaked. But I'm gonna make it in the next call because right now I have less than a minute. So would you mind joining the next video conference? I'm going to end up this one because my time is over. Okay?
Okay, teacher.
I'll see you then
Okay,
in 30 seconds.